In 1955, Charles Diggs Jr. became the first African American to represent the state of Michigan in the House of Representatives. As more black legislators entered the House, they recognized the power in numbers. And so, in 1969, Representative Diggs launched the Democratic Select Committee, the precursor to the iconic Congressional Black Caucus. At first, the Democratic Select Committee was an informal group with no staff or budget. But all that changed in 1971, when on the heels of the Civil Rights Movement, the number of African Americans in the House rose to 13, the most African Americans ever to serve simultaneously in Congress.
The Democratic Select Committee came together to decide how best to marshal their political voice within the halls of Congress, and so they formed the Congressional Black Caucus. Collectively, they did not have a lot of power within the Congress itself. That was made stark by President Nixon refusing to meet with them early on.
In a letter to the president, CBC members asserted that the administration's refusal to grant them a meeting was evidence of the president's disregard for black people's interests. Accordingly, they declared that they wouldn't be part of the president's audience during his State of the Union address. The boycott made national headlines, ultimately forcing President Nixon to meet with the group and establish the CBC as a powerful organization.
The Congressional Black Caucus has always done well to represent not only their constituents, but really a constituency of marginalized people, taking on the nickname of the conscience of the Congress. They proposed the first legislation to get the United States government to sanction South Africa because of its oppressive and discriminatory policies. Another example is Congresswoman Barbara Lee, who refused to support the congressional measure to approve the war in Iraq, understanding that it was based on misguided information.
Throughout the years, the CBC's size and influence have continued to grow. At the opening of the 116th Congress in 2019, the CBC had an historic high of 55 members. Sadly, the caucus suffered the loss of two of its giants. We honor their memory by continuing to support the work of the remarkable public servants of the CBC who are relentlessly fighting for the only kind of equality that carries real meaning: equality of results.
"50 years ago, 13 pioneering black members of Congress changed the world, creating what has become one of the most powerful and prophetic institutions in Washington. The Congressional Black Caucus has been the conscience of the Congress. It's also the promise of a better future. The CBC continues to thrive with the largest CBC class in history, 57 members in the U.S. House of Representatives and Senate, directly representing over 17 million Black Americans. These leaders know that there is much more work to do on critically important issues. They are the best of us, unparalleled Black excellence, pressing onward in power. We will honor our legacy, and we will create a better future for us all."